Now, as gardeners, we're not all perfect, and sometimes we do make mistakes, and this is a great example of a mistake that we've made recently. So this is our newly planted border we planted in spring, and what we've done here is we've planted this lovely geranium. So this is Geranium pretense, azure skies, and unfortunately we also planted in front of it this Polemonium called Bressingham purple. And if you can look, the flowers are extremely similar. And what we're going to do is, once this has finished flowering, we'll do some rearranging and make sure that there's not two colours and two flowers that are very similar. But just while I'm here, I've just noticed there's actually some seed already set on the Polemonium. So I'm just upturning the flower spikes and the seed heads upside down, and I'm just going to collect some seed so I can do some more sowings and just make some more plants of this wonderful Polemonium, because this has been in flower since we bought it. I think we bought it in April, and it's been in flower ever since, and it's not been touched too badly by the slugs, which is great for our garden. So having more of that scattered around the garden will be perfect. So yeah, that's another project to do later in the year. I've come back to this part of the garden this morning, and it's the time now to get this Polemonium out of this border and replace it with something else that we've found, which I think will match these other plants perfectly. So this Polemonium, it does seem to have a few extra flower spikes on since I last looked at it, but because it's getting into July now, and we don't tend to have any kind of rules with regards to moving plants at any time of year. The only golden rule we do have is that if we do move things in summer, where it's going to be very dry, very hot days, is that we thoroughly water before we move and then again afterwards. And we keep making sure that there's no point after the move that the plant is allowed to dry out, because that can be fatal, particularly in summer. So what we're going to do first is, this has already had a really good water in the ground, so what I'm going to do is just dig it up and just place it in this pot. It should come out pretty easily. And literally place it into a pot. So before I plant the plant, I'm just going to show you what I've got. So this is a Salvia Caradonna, and it is called Pink Inspiration. So I mean, a lot of these spikes have almost completely flowered, but you can just see the top. It has these beautiful pale pink flower spikes, and this will go perfect with the blue of the geranium and also of its neighbouring plant, the achillea, the yellow of the achillea. So that is going to go in that space there. So I've already had it in a bucket of water, and it's been thoroughly soaked because it was in a small pot, and that means it's going to dry out really, really quick. So the next thing to do is to dig the hole. And you want to make sure when you're planting that it is the same level in the ground as what it is in the container that it was being grown in. I'm just going to make sure that that's deep enough. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. And then what I like to do is I'm going to take it out of its container. Just tip it upside down. And then I'm just going to give just some of these roots a little bit of teasing out. So when they meet the new soil, they can go straight into it and continue to grow. A little bit too deep there. And then what I'm also going to do, just to make doubly sure, is put a little bit of this water into the planting hole to ensure that that water gets right down where it's needed into the roots. Then I'm just going to backfill. And then give it a good firming in. So already you can see, even though the flower spikes have almost gone, even the dead flower spikes really complement the blue and also the yellow of the Achillea. So the last thing I'm going to do now is some of these spikes that have completely gone, I'm just going to prune them to the leaf joint so that I can promote some of these additional shoots along this leaf joint to start to flower. If you can see, some of these are already starting to. There's one there that's just developing there. And then finally, I say finally, I'm going to do another finally. I'm going to just add a bit of compost to the top, because that will just give some nutrients that when it's watered will seep down and help to feed the plant in its new home. So I'm just going to get the compost. And then give it another drink. And like I said, with these really hot days of summer, it's essential that you keep it watered. And that's it. Keep it watered and enjoy it. So Paul's just dug out from the other border this Polemonium, this Bressingham purple, gorgeous, and that's going to go in place of this digitalis, which has pretty much finished now. We've removed the seed heads and I'm going to pop that in its place. So what I need to do is just carefully take the digitalis out. Just tease around the edges there. Because the Polemonium is going to be much better in here, and it's going to not only be happy but look amazing next to all these other plants. Certainly next to
pop that in there like that next to the penstemon. It's going to look gorgeous. I mean, just picture that next year. This lovely blue flowers next to the penstemon. It's going to be gorgeous. Right, so let's dig a nice little hole. Pop the soil behind the penstemon. And what we can do is we'll keep that label. Paul's very particular about labels, making sure most plants have all the plants have labels and nice, all the full names on, so that's always a good thing as well. That way as well, do you know, when you're showing someone around the garden and you know, you think, oh, what variety of plant is this? It's always nice to have the labels on so people can see what they are. So I'll try and pop this in. I think I might need a bigger hole, to be honest. No, that's perfect. I think that is absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to backfill this. And I just know, I will top it up with some compost as well. But I just know that next year this is going to look stunning. When this comes up again, it's going to look amazing. And obviously we'll have the digitalis next to it, that lovely pink here. So that'll be nice as well. It does look amazing. So I'll just go and grab a little bit of compost. So pop all this lovely goodness around the plant. That'll give it a really good start this year, and then I say next year it'll look stunning when it comes up. Now, with regards to the digitalis, obviously digitalis is a biennial, so the first year it grows a lovely rosette, and then the second year it will produce the flower spike or flower spikes. And so these are all ready now for next year, and we can tell by the colouring of the leaves, and you can see running through there that these are literally going to be pink variety. They're not going to be white, they're going to be pink, these, so they'll be nice. They'll create a nice contrast with all these plants. So plenty of compost around the area, and then take that stem off. And then we might cut some of these back later on, you know, some of these spent heads, and just leave the rest of the flowers, because they are beautiful and the bees do like them. So I'm just going to grab some water and give this really good watering in, being careful because it's on a slope as well, that I don't run all the water off. That's a problem when you're growing things on a slope. Until things are established, you know, you need to make sure that you don't want any runoff. But we'll keep checking this. If we get another water again later on, and we'll keep checking this over subsequent days and keep the water coming. So there you go. That's going to look amazing next year. Thank you for watching.